Over to the west side now, where North Carolina was the 4th number 1 seed in the tournament and gets to play opening weekend close to home in Charlotte. But the 2 seed, Arizona, is the favorite to win this bracket at plus 280. UNC close behind them at plus 300. Tom, I'll start with you again. Your best bet and your sleeper.
Yeah, listen, I'm not an Alabama fan. That's a team I look to fade. And listen, there's being in a minority, and then there's like in Alabama against Charleston, because everybody on earth is on Charleston. I'm just going to be honest with you. I think it's a terrible, terrible draw for Charleston. They're going to run up and down the court with Alabama, and Alabama has way more athletes. It's one thing when Kentucky does it, but I just see Alabama at some point blowing this game open in the second half. I wanted to pick against Alabama in round 1. I just didn't get the matchup. So now I like the Tide laying the 9.5. In terms of the bracket, I've been on North Carolina all season. I just like the way they play. I could see 4 or 5 different teams winning this West region. I really could. But I'm going to stick to my guns and go with Carolina. One of the things I like about the Tar Heels is the defensive intensity from last year to this year is miles different when they missed the tournament. They just didn't play with a lot of effort, and that's changed. And they also can win games in multiple different ways. They can run with you. They can slow it down. So I think that helps them in the tournament. And I'm going to give kind of a bigger sleeper here. I think Nevada is interesting to me. The way they play, Dayton, Nevada is going to be a toss-up game. I don't know who's going to win that one. If Nevada wins, I think they give Arizona some problems. They're going to frustrate them. They're going to slow the game down. You know, those are the kinds of teams that really bother Arizona. So I think they would have a shot in that game. So I don't love the Mountain West overall, but I think Nevada's in a good spot to at least make the Sweet 16.
Well, yeah, and you kind of alluded to it. This is the most wide open bracket. So, Mike, we'll go back to you now. Where are you looking here?
You know, I like a lot in this region, really, Grace. Really, I have 2 opening round matchups that I've got my eye on. Number 1, I like Clemson in this first matchup, plus 2.5. I made them a slight favorite the other way. It is a big difference from model. New Mexico is a team that I think is decent. I think that they're a product of some of the coaching staff and the conference overall being a little stronger this year. But Clemson does one thing extremely well, and that is the free throw line. That is what I'm looking for in close neutral site games. One of the best free throw shooting teams in college basketball. So I like Clemson in that opening round game. I love St. Mary's here, minus 4.5. I made that one up to minus 7.5. St. Mary's is a team that really relies on the pace of play and the defensive end of the floor, but they're not unused to seeing some of the pace of play contrast because of the matchups they get with Gonzaga every year. I think that they are kind of a sleeper in this region. I know it's weird to say a 5 is a sleeper, but once again, you've got 2 dominant teams in North Carolina and Arizona. So I do qualify St. Mary's as a sleeper here at the 5 seed. Because they'll probably be an underdog in that matchup with Alabama as well. So if you're an underdog in that second game, basically, I'm calling that a sleeper here. I think that they've got a lot of tools on the defensive end of the floor. So give me St. Mary's as a sleeper and Arizona to get it done. So the one note I want to make on Arizona, some of you guys know, for live betting purposes, I use a data set called Shot Quality. It takes a look at expected probabilities, make and miss, based on all the shots that were attempted in the game. And it looks at what kind of shots, the quality of shots you're taking and allowing. This Arizona team rates both top 10 in both on offense and defense. So what they're taking and then what they're giving up, they actually fall inside the top 10 in both. But then we also look at their record in terms of a shot quality record. So we look at what the actual record was and then the expected record. This team, their actual record and the expected record is dead on. They have not overperformed. They have not underperformed. They are exactly who they are supposed to be. And that's something that I like to see with a sample size that big, to not be 2 to 3 games off either way. I like Arizona here to come out of this region.
Yeah, that's a great tip. And Zach, you and Mike are kind of going head to head here with your sleepers, at least in this first round, because Zach, you're looking at one of the trendier picks, Grand Canyon, to make some noise here. Why do you like them?
I like them, Grace. I actually got to see them firsthand this past week for the conference tournaments here in Las Vegas, and they stood out to me. They should not be a 12th seed, and that's the biggest thing in March. If you're not seeded properly, you can make a run. Look at this Grand Canyon team going up against St. Mary's. You got to remember they lost their big man Josiah Jefferson in that February mark, so they're thin there. They ended their conference tournament early. Last Monday. So when this tournament begins, it'll be 10 days since they last stepped on the court. Grand Canyon, they do so many things well balanced with Coach Drew, and they get to the free throw line, 7th best in the country, 25 free throws they make per game. That is big when you get in a tournament style of play where teams don't know you. So they're going to be able to draw those fouls, continue to the free throw line, and that disrupts a team from an offensive rhythm. You just can't get in your rhythm when the other team's at the free throw line consistently like Grand Canyon is going to be. And last but not least, people saw what St. Mary's did in conference, but let's not forget they had a 1-5 stretch early in the season in non-conference play. So for me, GCU is my sleeper, and Alabama will be the team I picked to come out of the region. They're the only region that I did not go with the top seed. I just think it's going to be wide open. North Carolina for me. They deserve the 1 seed, but I think they're very vulnerable from a depth standpoint, pretty much run a 6-man rotation, and the pressure's on them, Armando Bacot and RJ Davis, to get it done. Alabama, the pressure's off them, not being the top seed this year. We know that they can score tops in the country in that category, 91 points per game. And the only matchup that really scares me from them making the deep run is that second-round potential matchup against St. Mary's or Grand Canyon. They get by that, I see them going deep.
Yeah, I'm looking at the betting splits right now, which, you don't always want to put too much in the splits, but if they support your argument, then that's great. But this one is notable. Grand Canyon St. Mary's, the tickets are split, but 90% of the handle is on Grand Canyon.